Dr. Redfield, are you an advocate for a moratorium on gain-of-function research, particularly research on potential pandemic pathogens, and why?
Yes, I am. I think that, again, I think the people that are advocates for gain-of-function research do believe that by doing this research, they somehow get ahead of the curve. I'm of the point of view that we don't need to make pathogens more transmissible or more pathogenic in order to get ahead of the curve. We can begin to deal with those pathogens as they evolve. I don't think this should be a decision made by scientists alone. This is a societal decision. There should be a broad debate about whether this research is really necessary. And if so, we should decide how to do it safely and responsibly. I remind people, when I was CDC Director, one of the most difficult things I had to do as a 20-something-year Army vet was shut down Fort Detrick. It wasn't very popular. These people were my friends, I knew them, but our inspection showed that they were cutting corners in their biosecurity requirements. And I felt that we weren't going to take that chance with the Frederick community and beyond. And so I shut the lab down for 4 to 6 months until they corrected their biosecurity. So I think this is much more complicated than people think. And if we are to go down that path, I would argue there's a few labs in the world that should be with multiple redundancy in containment to do this. But I'm not convinced it's to an advantage, and this is why in the Wall Street Journal op-ed I did, I strongly recommend that we have a moratorium on gain-of-function research, similar to what we had in the Obama administration.
In one sentence, can you provide a definition of gain-of-function research? And I say that because there becomes a little semantics sometimes, I believe, within the scientific community of what is a chimera and what is gain of function.
Yeah, I think it's to take a pathogen and try to increase one of two things or both, to increase its transmissibility or its pathogenicity. I disagree with some of my colleagues at NIH to say the definition is restricted to a pathogen that's already a pathogen. If I make a non-pathogen pathogenic, that's gain of function.
So in your expert opinion, was the Wuhan Institute conducting gain-of-function research on
Absolutely.
coronaviruses? Thank you. So one other path of questioning for you, Dr. Redfield. Proponents of this research claim it may result in vaccines or maybe even stop a pandemic. Dr. Redfield, has gain-of-function created any life-saving vaccines or therapeutics to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Has gain-of-function stopped a pandemic, in your opinion?
No, on the contrary, I think it probably caused the greatest pandemic our world has seen.
Do you find any tangible benefits to gain-of-function research at this time?
I personally don't, but I do want to stress, I think the men and women that support it are people of good faith because they truly believe it's going to lead to a potential benefit. I disagree with that assessment.
Thank you. I now recognize the ranking member.